Hello and welcome to the next review on Foos Entertainment. Next up we're talking about the final Phantasm movie, Phantasm Ravager. Well, I said this is the funnest Phantasm movie, and I actually meant what I said. A lot of people will actually look down on this movie. I am not one of them. Because I know what it took to make this movie. I know how long it took to make this movie and so on. And I'll get into the premise of that in a second, but let's talk about the movie first. This movie is confusing to people that don't really have open mind to pay attention to things, but the film is easy to actually understand if you actually really pay attention. Reggie is caught in between three different time periods going through the space-time continuum. In a future, he has dementia. The future meets the current. In the past, by the end, but in the past, he is pretty much about to relive the events of the first movie, although it only spends about a minute on that with the tall man telling him that. Most of the film actually has two realities that are being played out. A reality to where Reggie is wandering the desert after the events of Phantasm 4. Then there's a 10 years later reality to where the tall man has actually brought on Armageddon. And the entire world has become much like his diabolical world that he's from. You have big spears that are the size of spaceships all over the place. The sky's red. There's blood on the streets. Everything. Diabolical. And in the future, there's really only one reality kind of goes back and forth on, and basically in that one, Mike is trying to comfort him on his final days, believing that, everything's all in his head because of his diagnosis of having dementia. What happens is we find out it was all really, in a lot of ways, an experiment from the tall man himself, and he's kind of lost within present and two future realities, kind of going back and forth. One future reality is only 10 years later, and another one that's about 35 years later. And so what happens by the end of the movie is they all come together and form one reality. And this one's really more about the characters than anything else. But it is very much a Reg Man installment, which means it's really all about Reggie in this movie. It's not really about Mike or anything like that. It's all about Reggie. And I think the Phantasm films, in a lot of ways, are good when they're just about him. As we saw with Part 3 and Part 5. Part 2 is the introduction of the cool character of Reggie being, sort of the action hero, but it tends full circle in this one. I definitely respect this movie. I know this movie was made on a low budget and stuff like that, but the fact that this movie even exists is a monument and a thank you to the fans, in my opinion. Now let's talk about how this movie got made. Originally, there were a whole bunch of ideas that started back as far as 1999. The original plot was pretty much in a lot of ways in the future. It took place in the future to where the world has been ruined. So they did take a lot of the Phantasm end script and put it in this movie. But they added a bunch of other stuff, including what's known as the Reggie Chronicles story, which plays a big part in this movie. And so, yeah, a lot of development hell, people, over about almost 15 years of them trying to make a final fit movie, and they could never get it done. And then they finally did, and this is what they came up with. Whether people like it or not, this is a fitting end, in my opinion. And people said this film has no climax. Well, that's not entirely true. If you actually watch the end credits of the movie, it shows the climax within the credits. They probably did that for a reason, because I'm pretty sure before the for tragedy, stroke, and in a real world in Hollywood, that we're planning on making a Phantasm 6. But unfortunately, one day before or one day after the passing of David Bowie, Angus Scrim, who plays the Tall Man in the Phantasm films, passed away at a much old age of, I believe, about 82 or 85 years old. Unfortunately, Angus Scrim did not actually have the ability to watch this movie. He died before it was released. But that's why there's not going to be any more Phantasm films. It's because when it comes to Freddy Krueger, yeah, you're going to have any really good actor play that character. I don't care what people have to say. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be defending movies in September and October that the people out there in the world most likely don't like as well. Nightmare on Elm Street is one of them. That remake, that is. You just have to be a really good actor and really good at playing Freddy, okay, to do that and be able to pull it off. There's plenty of people who could do that. Just about any big, bulky, intimidating dude can play Jason Voorhees. Any average guy who can act really well in a mask and move around in a very stocky, very creepy way can play Michael Myers. But that's not the case with the Tall Man. There's really no one out there other than Angus Scrim can play a Tall Man, and that's why there's not going to be any more Phantasm films. Well, this film did go out in the movie theaters, believe it or not, in a very limited release, alongside Phantasm Remastered. Also came out in theaters in a limited release as well. That said, though, this film was recorded with high-definition 178 by 1 cameras. A lot like this one, but they use different cinema filters than the one I'm using right now. The one I'm using right now actually, in a lot of ways, records these reviews in a 235 by 1 frame, which is why you have the bars on top and bottom. But yeah, basically. That's what was presented in. This film looks like a high definition movie. It really does have that look. I'm not sure how to describe the cinematography of the film. It just looks like a digital sort of high definition movie that has a lot of colors that just make it look like a digital movie. Kind of has that type of camcorder type of look to it as well, but it's not really camcorder, it's just the cameras they use. It's just really a digital looking high definition movie, and that's the way that a lot of HD cameras are these days. Like, for example, take Star Wars The Last Jedi. That film looks really digital, that you can almost think of it as like a video game looking movie with live action. And that's kind of the case with Phantasm Ravager. The audio. This film was made in 2016, so the 5.1 DTS HD Master Audio track is top-notch and very theatrical and satisfying, because this film was made recently, within the past 3 years. So you'll have a lot of really good sound going around. It doesn't sound like you have a lot of stuff in front of you. It sounds like everything's on all cylinders doing its job in a very brilliant way. Well, that's pretty much all there is to say about Phantasm Ravager. Did you like Phantasm Ravager? Did you not like Phantasm Ravager? Do you like this video? Do you not like this video? As always, subscribe, comment below, check on me time to time, whatever you want. I will see you next time for my review of the remake of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, which should be my final review for today. Well, I will see you guys next time.